Pippin, a midlife crisis. Is this something that resonates with you? And if it does, this is a performance you can't miss. Welcome to What's Next, everyone. Well, Theater 55 is bringing Pippin to the stage, and this time it's going to be performed by those 50 plus. Director Richard Hitchler joins me more to tell us a little bit more about this production of Pippin. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me here. Really pleased.
Okay, so we did Hair earlier this year, you
Yes.
did, and so now it's Pippin. So why Pippin?
Well, Pippin is typically the story of a young man coming back from college. It's a fantastical story, made up story of King Charlemagne and young Pippin, who comes back to impress his father. He joins a war. He tries to find his way through life, trying to figure out what life is all about. And in my experience, people over 50 are sort of retooling themselves, figuring out what's next, what is happening after this. What do I do the second chapter of my life, the second half of my life? And so that same discovery, that same idea came to mind as Pippin becomes over 50 and has to rediscover himself and figure out what he wants to do and what's right. And I think that resonates with a lot of people, and a lot of people who are over 50 who have maybe had some great success with their life or done some things, and then you have to think about, what am I going to do next? What is the next part of my life going to look like? And how am I going to leave my legacy? And what is that going to be? And how is that different? It goes back to that old saying of, nobody ever wished they worked more, as you're on your deathbed. So I think people want to know, what is that truly meaningful thing in life? And the story of Pippin is such a great way to reflect that and look for things as Pippin kind of goes through the world and tries to discover these different things and ends up finding happiness from something very simple. And I think that's what we all kind of find after a point.
We got magic to do just for you. We got miracle plays to play. We got parts to perform, hearts to warm, kings and queens to take by storm as we go along the way.
And it's steampunk.
It is, yes. So we're doing it as a steampunk. Typically it's told as a performer's, circus performance. And so I decided to do it as a steampunk performance, a steampunk circus. And so the idea with steampunk, and the idea was that, had we gone along this sort of analog world and this steam world versus a digital world, what life would have been like. And so the idea being that if you follow that norm of what people normally do in life, versus what if you went off to a different direction. And so that's where Pippin breaks from that circus and that steampunk idea to kind of find something new. And I thought that was a really good kind of telling way to tell that story and give the people really, the actors and the audience, a real fun experience to see that sort of steampunk dress and all that stuff, which is really wild and fun. Comparable to like the fun that we had with Hair, with the costuming. So this will be the same kind of idea, and it's super fun, and it's super great to see the actors in these costumes. And what I was really amazed at was how many of these actors actually had some of these costumes in their own closets, which surprised me. So I was really pleased to see all of that as well.
Oh, and now one of the characters you've actually broken into 3 performers.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, the lead player, and in the original Broadway version, it was Ben Vereen who played the leading player. Now, I took that into 3 people, and it's Beverly Tipton Hammond, Patti Lacey from The Sounds of Blackness and former backup singer with Luther Vandross, and Lisa Ramos, who performs regularly and has performed regularly with the Minnesota Opera. And they're all 3 performing this. And the reason I did 3 is that there's just that ongoing part in theater that is all about threes. And my mentor, Stephen Caney, always told me as I was directing at the University of Minnesota, he said, you want to do 3. If you do anything, do it in 3s. And so I've always kept that going. And it gives these 3 women who are incredibly great actresses and singers an opportunity to really shine in their own various ways. And it's like any story of 3s, like the 3 witches or the 3 sirens. You sort of see that in a lot of history, a lot of Shakespearean plays and a lot of other plays. And I think that's really just something that it struck me that I had 3 very talented people here, and I couldn't, it wasn't that I just couldn't decide. I thought, what if we did it with 3? And I thought that it works perfectly, and it's a really good telling and a really good way to tell that story and interpret it that way.
Now, the original choreographer is Bob Fosse.
Yes.
And so dance moves, what are we seeing?
A lot of great dance. And this time around, we got some incredible dancers, too. So I've got at least half a dozen people who are trained dancers who have danced quite a bit. So we're going to see everything from, soft shoe and tap to a lot of jazz hands with the Fosse look. Yeah. So a lot of hands, a lot of hand movement, which is great for the age group, too, because if you can't, keep your legs going the way you used to, you've still got hands and arms and things to move around, and we are incorporating a lot of sort of silly slapsticky work into it. So it doesn't disguise itself as anything but a troupe of actors who's telling a story. And that's exactly the way we're playing it. So a lot of the big battle scene is kind of slapsticky and Buster Keaton-esque and things like that. So it's very fun in that regard as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, who's your audience? Because, again, when you did Hair, it was everybody showed up for that. So is that kind of the goal?
That's the exact same goal, because I think really, everybody will enjoy this. I think any age group will enjoy it, and I think it's anything from probably 10 on up, would be great in the audience. I think most people are going to understand this if you've been there, done that. I think what happened in Hair is we saw a lot of audience members who had seen Hair originally on Broadway or saw it as it toured through the Twin Cities at a different point in time, or some who saw it in Chicago and so on. We had a couple who flew in from North Carolina just to see the show, just because they've been to Hair and this was their 32nd production that they had seen over the course of time.
Yeah.
So audience-wise, I think it's everybody. It's open for everybody to come and enjoy. The people who I think will get the most out of it are those who are in their 20s and are searching for something, and those who are over 50 searching for something, and those who just plain want to be entertained.
Exactly. Exactly. Looking for their what's next.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, because it's musically fun. It'll be visually exciting, and so it'll be a lot of fun no matter what.
All right, so let's tell the audience now where they can go. So it's the Theater 55 production of Pippin.
Correct.
It's going to run September 13th through September 29th. Tickets are $25. You can buy your tickets at theater55.org. The theater is the Mixed Blood Theater on 4th Street. There's a senior matinee on September 18th at 1 p.m. and tickets are $18 for that performance only.
Correct.
And good luck.
Thank you so much.